All right, so we're going to be replacing the wheel bearing on the Chevy HHR. Got my axle nuts out here, my axle sockets. Ooh, can't talk today. So I'm going to use my impact with my 19 millimeter. That's what it takes to zip this wheel off. So here we go. Don't need much here. So zipping the wheel off. And these are pretty easy to do. They're complete hub assembly, so don't, don't be afraid to tackle this. These are incredibly easy. You get a few hours, boom, you can do it. So we zip this wheel off. Now we're going to take the wheel off here. All right. So now the wheel's off. We're going to pull the brake drum off. Now I have a very unrusty car, so that'll slide right off for me. There we go. Just that easy. And yeah. Now we're going to get down here and we're going to take the 4 bolts that go through the back. It's actually studs inside this wheel bearing. Excuse me. And the studs run through, and I got some nuts on the back. So we're going to go into our toolbox, grab my tools. We're going to take those off, and those aren't torqued real. It's nothing like 100 foot-pounds on them. We're going to douche this off first. It's always good just to clean out the brake dust. Kind of helps with the, getting all the dust out of it. If you can clean all the brake dust out of them, that does help. As you can see, we do have the vehicle supported with the jack stands. I'm just voiceovering this, I'm not editing it down, so you're going to see raw time what it takes me to do a real wheel bearing. Just kind of moving slow and lazy on the weekend. So we're going to do that. So let me grab my tools. Get down here on the ground. Let's get you positioned so you can see these rear bolts here. Trying to show you. Oh, there's the Highlander in the background. So we got one there, one across from it, and 2 down below. And we're going to use an extension to go through. Well, yeah, my isolator's tore for the coil spring. So this little car's going to need some more work for the rear, but we'll do it all up eventually. We'll do it good. So we're just going to get the electric ratchet out here. We're going to get a long extension. And on mine, these seem to be, I don't know if these are factory bearings or not on this car, but they seem to be 15 millimeter, so we're going to crack those loose. And I'm just going to zip them out with this little impact. There we go. There's one. There's two. See right across from each other there. Those are the top ones. The bottom ones, there's that plug. We got the plug out. Okay. Now we'll get the other two out. One more. Two more. And we should have our bearing once this one's off. So our bearing should just slide right out the front once we get these nuts off. So now we'll just slide our bearing right out and put our new bearing right in. It should be pretty simple, so that's a common problem on these HHRs, the wheel bearings. So I'm going to grab you so you can see how this just pulls out. Don't have to dismantle the brake or anything. Everything can stay right there. There you go. There's the 4 studs. Sorry for shaking the camera around like this. Now, get the new one in, and there's a good look at those 4 studs, and we're going to spin those back on. So just a 15 millimeter nut on this. Again, this may have been replaced. The car does have 69,000 miles. I got it at like 160-ish something. So the car could very well have something. So I'm going to put those in. There's the part number. Now we'll torque it down. And these only torque to like 60 foot-pounds. But I'm doing some inspections, and I see a lot of bushings tore. Shocks don't look horrible, but up there where it mounts, it's tore. Yeah, spring isolators are bad, so yeah, not good. So got a lot of work to do on this car yet, and it's got to have axles up front and stuff. It's showing its age, so we're gonna put all that in. But first, we'll do bearings all the way around. Now I dropped the nut. And when you drop the nuts down here, it's kind of a pain in the butt. Magnetic sticks do help, but and I noticed when I did this on the other side that the coils on the spring were in such a way I couldn't get my extension through. So on the other side, I put the jack under the suspension to bring it up just enough to where I wouldn't have to where I could get my socket and extension through the coils, to where the coils would line up enough to give me a straight shot at those nuts. So those are all on. It's just that easy. So now I'm going to plug in the sensor. Oh, no, I'm going to take my magnet to fish the nut out. I forgot about this. This is where I drop the nut. So we're going to fish it. Magnets are your friend while fishing these nuts out. So here we go. Now I'm going to get it on there. And I always start these by hand. I mean, I know they're studs, but I still start them by hand before I take the impacts, whatnot to, and run them down. You can see me with the extension. Now, that's where I get the torque wrench to them. And I torque these to 60 foot-pounds in the back. That's what the sheet says to torque them to that came in the box with the bearing. I'm assuming that's factory spec. It may not be. Now, the same way of replacing the wheel bearing is going to be the same for like a Pontiac Sunfire or a Cobalt, even a Cavalier of similar year. You know, Cavaliers, they quit making them in 05, but it's going to be similar. So I'm running it down. I got my trusty Cobalt torque wrench. I have my torque stick here now. There's some things I always torque. Some things I don't. Some things, good and tight's good enough. Some things, hand tight's good enough. And those things are like wheel bearing bolts, axle nuts that go through the hub assembly, spark plugs and aluminum heads, and plastic valve covers. I don't care who you are, how good you think you are, pull the torque wrench out. Those are very torque sensitive. There we go, Cobalt torque wrench. We got some clicks. And I can't hear it click because I've lost the audio. Somehow I screwed it up like a dumbass, but we're going to voice over it and do this. There's a bunch of stuff I've got filmed that I have lost audio like a dumbass. Now we're going to plug in our connection. And this can be kind of a pain. Now, I'm going to take my giant man fingers here. I got some huge mitts, so we're going to stick him up. Sometimes it helps to have hands the size of Sasquatch and be 6'4". Sometimes it's a hindrance, but in this case it helps. If you have a screwdriver or some certain pliers or anything, brake shoes look excellent on this car. But if you have any of those, it can help to go back up through that opening and whatnot. But we've got that, and so now I'm trying to adjust the camera here. My tripod quit all stupid on me. That's what I get for buying cheap Amazon tripods. But I'll be honest, there have been times I have dropped them. Yeah, that kind of freaks me out, that being split there for the shock, but we're going to get it in and do something different. but that bushing's tore, so now we're going to put the drum and wheel on, and I got you on the big tripod, so, and here comes the drum back on. We're going to put that wheel back on, and we're going to torque her down and run it in, and we're going to be good. There's the wheel going back on. Alright. We got all the lug nuts going on here. Now we're going to torque it. So I got a big torque wrench, and these are aluminum wheels, and we always torque aluminum wheels to avoid warpage of our drum or our disc, but we'll run them down with this first. I've got it turned down there. So we're turning down the impact. And now we'll run the others on, and we'll torque the wheels, because I torqued these to about 90 foot-pounds. That's what I'm going to torque these wheels to up here. Pull out a big 1/2-inch drive torque wrench. There's the torque wrench. So now we're going to let the car down to torque this. Here, I jack it up. I'm going to pull the jack stand out. And we're going to let the car down. Boom. Car is let down. Now we're going to take our torque wrench. Here goes the torquey. Still got a little bit to hit 90. I'm torquing them in a star pattern. Alright, and we have completed the wheel bearing. Now we're going to start it up, and take her for a drive, make sure we don't have any sounds and whatnot. make sure everything takes, but it's done. As you can see, it's really simple. I didn't cut anything in this video. You get to see it all raw, from removing the wheel all the way to torquing it back on. It was just so easy. And that's it. We got the torque wrench up. Always zero your torque wrenches back out, so you know, it's an afterthought here. But yeah, it's easy. I mean, I did it. I did it this easy. As you can see, this is one of those DIY things. I mean, you take them to a shop and pay them $300 or $400 to do it. Unless you live in the Rust Belt, where it's a son of a mother to get some of these off. And I'm not going to lie. If you live up in the Rust Belt, God bless you guys for working on cars. And I live down in Missouri, down in Springfield, so we don't get a lot of rust, but we certainly like, you know, so yeah. But anyways, it's done. I'm taking it for a drive. I'm picking up tools, as you can see in the reflection of the car. And if you like this video, thumbs up. If you didn't like it, thumbs down. And I do appreciate you watching. And you know, now at this point, I'm going to be off for a drive and take the car for a little toot. But that was it. It was that easy. And oops, there's one of the gorgeous Blacktown cars. And see, there's those ATE Pros I bought, and cheap old sockets off eBay, and they're doing good. So you know, it's what it is. But yeah, that's it. We are done. Everything's done. And so, well, you guys have a wonderful week. And I do want to thank you again for watching. And like I said, if you liked it, like it. If you don't like it, thumbs down it. Comments down below. And that's it.